I know you think this is a clickbait thumbnail. I know. You're looking at the thumbnail and you're going, he's saying he's selling his altcoins again. But you know what? We don't do clickbait thumbnails anymore. We've actually changed our strategy. We don't do it anymore. And today I'm really going to show you why I'm selling a lot of my altcoins. In fact, I think I'm probably selling 95% of my altcoins. And it's not going to happen today. It's going to happen over the period of the next 30, maybe 60 days. But I'm trading out of altcoins. And I think it's very, very important that you understand why I'm trading out of altcoins, because I think if and when you understand why, you may actually do the same. So that's what today's show is about. I think we can play the intro song today. Let's do it. I see a lot of you are asking how dinner was last night, because you now went for dinner with Leia. You'll get a full update on my dinner with Leia in a couple of minutes. That I promise you. You're going to get a full update on it. It's going to be a big show today. Listen, I wasn't actually even going to do a show, but then we had some, I don't know, something happened, and I just thought I have to share it with you. And the result of what happened is that I'm going to be selling my altcoins. I'm going to be selling, well, I won't sell all my altcoins. I'm not going to sell Solana. I'm going to keep some Ethereum, but otherwise I'm going to sell a lot of my altcoins. And I think you really need to understand why it is that I'm selling my altcoins, because something big is happening on the market, and we need to talk about what's happening on the market. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I got 𝗘𝗐𝗍 with me. Well, he said he's going to be with me. We're going to be talking charts at the end of the show. Can't wait to have him on. The guy's on fire. Yeah, also going to have some updates for you. Got a big update for you on Ripple. Got updates for you on a whole lot of other altcoins. But I think let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show, because it's a big show. Lots to talk about here today. If you're new to the channel, listen, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Here we are in Miami, bringing you crypto love and crypto wisdom. I would much rather have stayed in bed today, but here I am bringing you crypto love and crypto wisdom before we go to the conference. So, yeah, all we ask of you is just to smash the like button, help us get circulation of us, subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. If you are in Miami, there is a link to the party that we're having tonight. You can attend for free. Just smash that link, register, come party with us tonight. It's going to be a long night, and that's why tomorrow we've got a surprise, unbelievable surprise show for you guys. All right, let's go into the alpha, because we are supposed to bring you the highest alpha per minute show on the internet. Okay, so that's what we promise you. So let's look at where we are. We got a little bit of a tick up in Bitcoin yesterday when we were on the show. I said to you guys, it was about 26,800. And I said to you guys, look, as long as that doesn't break below this 200-week moving average, I'm happy. Right now, we're challenging this neckline on this head and shoulders. And that's kind of like where we're at. And if you look at the altcoins, specifically if you look on Banter Bubbles, and by the way, I do see a lot of you in Banter Bubbles. I have been giving away lots of people in the Banter Bubbles. Banter Bubbles is working like an absolute charm. Like if you go into Render now, you see people actually talking about why Render is actually pumping. It's the best. It's like the highest alpha place to go and talk about what the alpha is. Also, by the way, if you are Al Nasser, you just won yourself $50 for being here. You just got $50 just for being here. So keep coming into the bubbles and keep bringing the alpha into the bubbles, and let's make this the biggest social trading platform in the world. Lots of stuff happening on the bubbles in the next week. Lots of stuff happening on the bubbles. Also, let's talk about the week that was. So the sentiment seems to have changed this week. If you look at last week was like doom and gloom. Remember when we reported about last week? It was all about doom and gloom. We had, let me show you some of the things we had last week. We had Jump Trading and Jane Street leaving crypto because of the US regulation. We had the Genesis mediation breakdown. We had like Binance FUD. We had debt ceiling FUD. Remember, we had a lot of debt ceiling FUD last week. You remember that, right? Last week, the debt ceiling, Janet Yellen. That's what happens when you go out in Miami for too long. The next day, you can't really talk properly. That's what happens when you go out with 𝗘𝗍𝗆 for dinner. The next day, you can't really talk properly. So last week, I see 𝗘𝗐𝗍 smiling. I mean, I know you're smiling.
Miami, baby. Yeah, tell me about this dinner, bro.
Where were you last night? That guy,
I was with Gareth, and I think it was Altcoin Daily and 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗆, and it was actually incredible. Like, it was amazing. Yeah. Like, I wish you showed me this earlier. How was the dinner, bro? It's a long anticipated dinner.
I'm giving a full breakdown on my dinner with Leia.
Okay, good. I'm staying tuned. I'm watching.
At the end of the show.
I'm watching.
Okay. I'll see you in a bit. All right. So last week, as I said, lots of bad stuff around the debt ceiling. Remember, I kept saying to you guys last week that I don't believe that this debt ceiling is a real thing. I think it's a negotiation tool between the Republicans and the Democrats. Last week, we had Janet Yellen coming out and talking to us about how bad the debt ceiling is.
A U.S. default would generate an economic and financial catastrophe. Over the past few years, American families and businesses, including many of yours, have worked hard to mount an historic economic recovery. And a default would reverse all of the hard-earned progress that we've made, and it would set us back even further. Our economy would suddenly find itself in an unprecedented economic and financial storm.
Okay, so last week was all about default. It was all about doom and gloom. But this week, you also remember Jamie Dimon last week talking about how bad, it said to you, Janet Yellen and Jamie Dimon were being used as pawns in this PR battle.
Well, I think the debt ceiling is potentially catastrophic.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different issue.
Okay, but now because the Fed is actually starting to run out of money, because if you look at the Fed's account last week, they had $184 billion in their account. And if you look at the Fed account this week, they've got $87 billion in the account. They're burning about $87 billion a week, which means that now we're getting to crunch time. And because we're getting to crunch time, they have to come up with a solution. Now, we know that the US is never going to default on its debt because both the Republicans and the Democrats are never going to let the US default on its debt. So now the whole narrative is starting to change. The narrative is starting to change to we will never default on our debt. We are finalizing the terms. And it's coming from both sides. It's coming from the Democrats and it's coming from the Republicans. So let's look over here. You have McCarthy, who's negotiating on behalf of the Republicans. He says a debt ceiling deal by Sunday is actually doable. And that's because he knows that Joe Biden is going to Japan. Joe Biden also came out yesterday and he says, let's quickly just find Joe Biden's speech.
The room understands the consequences if we fail to pay our bills. And it would be catastrophic for the American economy and the American people if we didn't pay our bills. And I'm confident everyone in the room agreed with the speaker, from the speaker to the majority leader, to the majority leader in the House and the Senate, the majority leader in the Senate, the minority leader in the Senate, as well as the Democratic leader in the House. We're going to come together.
Your words, bro.
Because there's no alternative. To do the right thing for the country, we have to move on. And to be clear, this negotiation is about the outlines of what the budget will look like, not about whether or not we're going to, in fact, pay our debts. The leaders all agreed we will not default. Every leader has said that.
Okay, so what did I tell you guys last week? I said, look, they're going to push it to the end. When it's near the end, they're going to negotiate. And now what Joe Biden is basically saying, he's saying, look, this is not about whether or not we're going to pay our debts. We're going to pay our debts. This is now negotiating the new budget that both the Republicans and the Democrats are actually happy with. Okay, so that's where we are when it comes to debt ceiling. And so now we have some better news. Kevin McCarthy also came out. Remember, he's negotiating on behalf of the Republicans. Listen to what he's saying.
16 more days to go. I don't think
very quiet.
Out of the country. I think the country wants an American president.
Very hard to. Okay, but long story short, Democrats and Republicans both agreeing that they're going to they're both agreeing that they're going to settle this, and the debt ceiling thing is going to be behind us in a couple of days, and that's pushing up the traditional market. The Dow Jones was up yesterday, probably going to be up again today as we get closer to this debt ceiling finalization. So that's a thing of the past. Also, this week, we also had Tether announcing that they're going to be buying, we worked it out to about $1 to $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin this week. And that was great because it absorbs the Mt. Gox selling. Then also last week, we had this undercurrent of bad regulation for crypto, right? Like we had this undercurrent for bad regulation on crypto, specifically around the SEC. And whereas in the US, yes, there is a undercurrent of negativity towards crypto, which I said to you guys, I think is going to change when the election campaign starts. Because right now you can have a dig at crypto, but very soon you're going to have to start election campaigning. And remember that 1 in 4 households in the United States actually own crypto. So because 1 in 4 households in the United States actually own crypto, it starts to become an election issue. And remember that the election campaigning is starting pretty soon. In fact, Ron DeSantis announced yesterday that he's coming into the race. So it's starting to get that undertone. But at the same time, outside of the US, something big is happening. Something really, really, really big is happening. Let's talk about what's happening outside the US. there has started to become a battle outside the US for who can capture the crypto and blockchain market share. It's happening slowly, and then quickly. So let's quickly look at what happened just in the last couple of days. First thing is, Europe announced that they, okay, there's an ad blocker here. Of course, there's an ad blocker here. But Europe announced that their cryptocurrency guidelines, which were amazing, very clear cryptocurrency guidelines, shows really forward thinking by the EU. Since the EU did it, and since the UK is no longer part of the EU, now the UK is into the battle. And they say, hold on a second. No, we think that crypto retail trading should be regulated as gambling. And remember, we said yesterday, first we were in disbelief as to how they could take our industry where we actually have fundamental value and then tell us that we're gambling. Then after like 2 minutes of thought, hold on a second. If you're going to regulate it as gambling and there's no taxes on gambling in the United States, then well, we actually want to be gamblers, because actually that's what we are. We are gamblers. So now the UK has found a new way to bring the blockchain people to the UK to say, hey, listen, come here, trade your tokens as much as you want, no taxes. Okay, amazing, no taxes. So Europe announces regulation, amazing regulation. UK says, okay, you're announcing regulation, we're going to regulate better than you. We're going to say no taxes. Basically, no taxes for trading crypto if this works. France comes out and says, okay, wait. If you're leaving the US, you should come to France. Same time, you've got China and Hong Kong opening up this week. And then you've got India now coming into the market going, hold on a second. Whoa. Remember, we closed access from the banks to all the exchanges? Well, no. We need to open it again. And now there's talk of India, the Indian government and the central bank looking at proposals to restore access to the UPI, a widely popular real-time payment system. So there is a battle that's happening. Last week, it was all about the SEC and how bad the SEC was. This week, the battle is a completely different battle. The battle this week is, where are these crypto people going to go? Abu Dhabi, Dubai, all fighting for crypto people. All while the USA is still fixated on destroying crypto. Okay, so what is their latest move? Their latest move, they come out and they say, Filecoin is a security in a letter to Grayscale. I mean, guys, why now? Why? You said, in fact, research actually shows that they came out 5 years ago and they did not say anything about Filecoin being a security after they investigated Filecoin. Now they go back to Grayscale and they say, look, you've got this Filecoin investment trust. Well, listen, you got a problem. Filecoin is actually a security. So the US seems to be, let me get some lights going in here because it looks like I lent Sheldon my lights yesterday and now he returned them, but they're not charged. So we have to, we are broadcasting in the dark. Hold on, let me get some lights going first. Let me just get some lights going here. Okay, I'm just getting us lights. I'm just making us bright.
Are you blaming me, for the lights?
Yeah, we should have lights. Okay, we'll make do with what we will make do with what we have. So as I was saying, you've got this week, the tide has turned from negative to slightly more positive. And then after all of that, we also got this Apple pump. Remember, and to be honest, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to claim some clout here. I think I deserve to claim some clout about this Apple announcement. I don't know what you guys say, but I think we were really the first channel to say to you guys, hold on the 5th of June, Apple is launching their new VR AR headset, or their mixed reality headset. And I think I even tweeted over here. I tweeted here when render was at about 185. I tweeted and I said, guys, 5th of June. And here we are today with this metaverse pump, specifically render, but a whole lot of other tokens. Now, I'm going to claim the clout here. I'm also going to introduce you right now to, we found the person in the world that hates us the most. Okay, we know we have a lot of haters, we know, but we found the person in the world that hates us the absolute worst. Okay, his name is 𝗵𝗫3. He has 41 followers on Twitter. Okay. Now, he has his whole life, he calls my forehead a 5-head. Okay. You see? Calls my forehead a 5-head. He says, I tweeted, we're finally doing dinner. He says, try and sober up before the show today because you were lit yesterday. This guy literally has an account that all he does is hate on us. I mean, imagine being so lonely that, I mean, Leia tweeted, look how I finally met in real life. So he tweeted, hey, 5-head, why is your face where your chin should be? I mean, how do you live a life just being a hater? Now, there are going to be lots of haters. There are going to be lots of haters. But, you know, I mean, yeah, I agree with you, Anthony. Like, what the hell is this? There are going to be lots of haters. We know there's going to be a lot of haters. In fact, there was another hater. His name was 𝗙𝗘𝗍𝗬. He had a big mouth, 𝗙𝗘𝗍𝗬. He says, I said yesterday render's going to run. He says, that's my trigger to go short. Run is always wrong. How's that sweet trade going run with the little clown? He entered his short at 195. And now render is 237. Basically, I want to say to him, rest in peace. Hold on, let's just see if we could, where that is. I think I lost my lights. I lost my place. It's a disaster what's going on here today. Here he is. Okay, so he's wrecked. 𝗙𝗘𝗍𝗬 also wrecked. And then, like, lastly, when you want to talk about haters, here we are meeting someone whose entire life has been changed by sniper school, and some monkeys in the chat believe that this thing is staged. Now, if you think that this thing is staged, don't worry. On the weekend, you're going to see 𝗙𝗷𝗕𝗚 releasing a podcast with the dude. Okay, so 𝗙𝗷𝗕𝗚 is going to release a podcast with a guy. I see this lights flashing now. Sheldon, you destroyed all my lights, bro. You brought me flat lights. You destroyed all my batteries, bro. So now I'm stuck here with no batteries. Anyway, so long live the haters. Good luck to the haters. I think what I'm trying to get at here is, okay, let's just switch off this light. Otherwise, I'm going to get an epileptic fit. I'm not epileptic, but this light is making me a bit epileptic. We'll broadcast like this, okay? Because Sheldon took my light and didn't charge it. It's okay. We'll get him back. We will get him back. I think what I'm trying to say is the following. Things change very, very quickly. And the main thing when things change is that you have to be in the market because you don't know when things are going to change. And when things change, you have to be in the market. There is this chart that shows what happens if you miss the 10 worst days in the market. So if you missed the 10 best days in the market, this is the S&P, this black line is the S&P. But if you missed the best 10 days in the market, the S&P is at 5.05, you would have halved your return. And if you missed the 10 worst days, well, then you would have doubled your return. I think the main thing is just be in the market. Time in the market is better than time in the market. It's an old adage. And I think in this case, it really, really works. Okay, let's see. What else is there? Is there anything else before we get into the big story? Actually, yes, there is. We are in Miami. As I said to you, generally, Miami is not a good place to be with a conference. Miles broke it down. He says, look, after 2020, Bitcoin went down 56% after the Miami conference. After 21, Bitcoin went down 24%. After 2022, Bitcoin went down 42%. So not good. Maybe this time it will be different. Also, the press now, and this was in the Wall Street Journal, not Washington, Wall Street Journal. The press was saying Miami's enthusiasm for crypto wanes in the annual Bitcoin conference. Now, obviously, it's going to wane because it's a bear market. Well, not a bear market, but it's not the same market we were in last year. So obviously, it's not going to happen, right? So let's go. Okay, so let's talk about the big story of the day. And the big story of the day is, I said to you guys, it's not actually a clickbait thumbnail. I told you that I'm actually going to sell a lot of my altcoins. Now, the reason why this is such a big story is because you know that I've always been into altcoins. Everyone knows I'm not a Bitcoin maximist. I've always been an altcoin maximist. The reason why I'm an altcoin maximist is because I really love innovation. I love innovation. But yesterday, before I went for dinner with Leia, and we'll talk about the Leia dinner later, yesterday, Leia asked me a question on her podcast. We filmed the podcast, and she asked me a question on her podcast. She asked a lot of questions, but one in particular. She asked me at the end of the podcast, she said to me, what do I think the narrative for the next bull market will be? And I was a bit flawed. I was like, it's quite you put me on the spot here. You want to know what the narrative for the next bull market is. And I just thought for a little bit. I just thought to myself, what is the narrative for the next bull market? I don't think it's metaverse. I don't think it's NFTs. I don't think it's DeFi. It's not layer twos because we've had layer twos. And so what is the narrative for the next bull market? And it took me quite a while to answer the question. But eventually I gave her the answer. And the answer that I gave her was, I actually think that Bitcoin is going to be the narrative for the next bull market. That got me thinking, why do I think that Bitcoin is going to be the narrative for the next bull market? Well, primarily, because I think that governments are going to do stupid things. There could be a banking collapse. There could be an escalation in the war between Russia and China. There could be between Russia and Ukraine. There could be China invading Taiwan. There could be fiscal stimulus. I think that there are a lot of things that can break. And because there are a lot of things that can break, I think that governments are going to do crazy things. And I think where governments are going to want to do crazy things, I think that people are going to flock to gold. That's what I think is going to happen. And you can already see that if you look at the gold price, if you look at the gold price and what gold has actually been doing. And let's quickly call up the gold price here. So let's quickly go gold. So if you look at the gold price, okay, right now it's at $1,958, but you can kind of see that gold, what the gold price is telling you is that governments believe that, or people believe that the government is about to do something stupid, and therefore they are flocking into the safe haven, and therefore gold is nearly at all-time highs. So logically, the right place to probably have some of your portfolio is gold. But then I also think that gold is about to have its rugged moment, the moment where the world realizes that Bitcoin is actually better than gold. Now, what do I mean by this gold rugged moment? I think that for years, gold has been the network that people flock to when they want to protect themselves against inflation, against government shenanigans, against collapses. They want to have something that they can hold. Now, most gold is stored in central banks. And I think that what's going to happen next is, up until now, gold hasn't had a real competitor. Now gold has a real competitor, and that competitor is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is 10 times better than gold. You can't deny that. It's more scarce, it's divisible, it's transportable, it's verifiable on chain. Because remember, gold is not verifiable on chain. A central bank may tell you that they have X amount of gold, but the truth is, do they actually have that X amount of gold? Probably not. And so I think that people will flock into gold. And I think that people will also realize that there is an alternative to gold called Bitcoin. But then gold is going to have its rug moment. What is the rug moment for gold? I think that somewhere a government or a central bank will do something stupid around gold. What do I mean? They may say that they've got X amount of gold, and then when they have an audit, or when it needs to be verified, or when they need to turn it over, they'll realize that actually they don't have that amount of gold because it's not verifiable on chain. Maybe a government around the world, if the shit hits the fans, will actually start confiscating gold. When that happens, people are going to flock to Bitcoin. So that's one of the reasons why I think Bitcoin is going to have its narrative. The other reason why I thought Bitcoin is going to have its narrative, so governments are going to do crazy things. People are going to flock to gold. Gold's going to have its moment where it gets rugged. But then, you know that I'm very, very, very excited about Ordinals. And I tweeted about Ordinals and I said, you know what? I actually think that I haven't been as excited about Bitcoin since the launch of Ordinals. And you can see that Ordinals grew really, really quickly. It went from being an NFT to the BRC20 standard to all these daily inscriptions. And it really has changed the lay of the land for Bitcoin. Now, you know, Michael Saylor very famously went on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, and he spoke about how Ordinals changes the world for Bitcoin. So let's quickly just listen to it for those of you who've been living under a rock.
So I think that what happened with Ordinals and NFTs is we crossed this chasm from what was a bearish scenario to a bullish scenario. If I was a miner, I would be ecstatic. I think that long-term, there are a lot of implications. Long-term, the implication is there's going to be a lot of applications on the Bitcoin base layer. Yeah, if I can inscribe a piece of art, right? An NFT is kind of an art, but I could also inscribe my last will and testament. And if my last will and testament is moving $1 billion from me to you, how much is it worth to you to have that burned onto the blockchain and cryptographically verified?
Yeah, at least $1 billion for me, Michael.
Would you pay $20?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Would you pay $100?
Of course.
There you go. So there are interesting applications. So I think that what happened with ordinals and NFTs is we crossed this chasm from what was a bearish scenario to a bullish scenario. If I was a miner, I would be ecstatic. I think that long term.
Okay, so you get the point. So basically, all of a sudden, you got this increased functionality. Let me just switch that off. You got this increased functionality, and you've got this new dimension in Bitcoin, right? So all of a sudden, you got this new dimension in Bitcoin, which gives you something to be really excited about. I was really excited about ordinals. I was really excited about BRC20, which is issuing of tokens on Bitcoin, and the potential use cases like Michael said is talking about. But that was yesterday or last week. And what excites me even more is that if you think about how quickly this has happened, just think about how quickly did we go from NFTs, ordinals, to BRC20, to ORC20. And then yesterday, there was an announcement that people are now running smart contracts on Bitcoin. And it's true. People have now found a way in a very short period of time to run smart contracts on Bitcoin. And it's happening. And so what this guy says, he says, I think the law of attraction from experience, new things have lots of hype and attention. Being early to a new technology puts you at a huge advantage to creating massive wealth. And I think that this is the main part of what I wanted to say to you. We went from getting NFTs on Bitcoin to getting a BRC20, which is a ERC20 standard, to then, in a matter of less than a month, to having smart contracts running on Bitcoin, and also to have a Bitcoin virtual machine, just like the Ethereum virtual machine. So in the span of a couple of months, Bitcoin has pivoted from being a store of value only to being a competitor to Ethereum, to being able to have smart contracts on Ethereum, like Ethereum. The only difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum is that Bitcoin has bigger network effects, and that Satoshis are actually more rare than Ethereum. Because remember, Ethereum doesn't have a capped supply, even though it's deflationary, but there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, and there will only ever be Satoshis worth 21 million Bitcoin. That's what it is. And so I think that Bitcoin is now entering a completely new dimension. And we know that if you get in early, it's probably the biggest opportunity of your lives. I didn't think that we'd ever get see an opportunity like this, where we all know and we all love and we all trust Bitcoin. And now all of a sudden you can do everything that you can do on Ethereum, you're starting to be able to do on Bitcoin. So I'll show you just some of the applications. Here you can issue smart contracts. You can swap BRC20s, almost like a DEX on Uniswap. You've got Bitcoin frogs, which is NFTs that have been issued on Bitcoin. Let me just show you how big these Bitcoin frogs are. They're the biggest NFT collection, bigger than any volume on Ethereum, bigger than any volume on Solana. All the exchanges are also rushing to list these BRC20s and ORC20s and whatever else. So we have really gone into a new era now on Bitcoin. And if I look at the potential on Bitcoin, and I say, okay, would I rather be investing in small altcoins somewhere else, or would I rather be investing on amazing infrastructure being built on the Bitcoin ecosystem? Well, let me just switch the slide off so I don't get epilepsy, because Sheldon stole my light. Where would I rather be investing? Would I rather be investing on small shitcoin somewhere else, or would I rather be investing in innovation on the network, which is the big daddy, the king of all networks? Well, I think I'm going to save my dry powder, and instead of speculating somewhere else, I'm going to start speculating on all these developments on the Bitcoin network. Now, in order to do that, you need to have money. So where do you get your money from? Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to sell your shitcoins. You got to get out of all the coins that you think are going to get killed by this Bitcoin revolution. And the Bitcoin revolution is real. Again, that's the growth of ordinals. That's the Bitcoin growth. This is the speed at which it's happening. A few months ago, ordinals were launched. Now you've got all these smart peoples running Solidity smart contracts on Bitcoin, running Bitcoin virtual machine, which effectively turns Bitcoin into a supercomputing network like Ethereum. You got to be crazy not to realize that people are going to flock to this node. And so if people flock to this node, well, we know what happens. We're going to get a repeat of what happened on Solana and what happened on Ethereum. We're going to get the same thing, but this time it's going to be on the big daddy of all networks. Now, it's not going to be without its problems. Right now, Bitcoin can't scale. The Lightning Network is an absolute joke. We can go on forever. But I think what we've got to do is we've got to prepare for it. We have to be prepared for it. And what does that mean? It means that you've got to have money. You got to have money to play in this new game. You got to have dry powder. Where do you get the dry powder from? Well, remember, when this takes off, it's going to eat into the Ethereum coin market share and the Solana coin market share and all the other coin market share. And so if you wait, if you sit here and you wait, you say, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait. Problem is that if you wait, the prices of the other tokens may go down while the prices of the Bitcoin tokens may actually explode. So have dry powder, because I think this revolution's coming. And I think if the revolution's coming, you want to be there. You want to be in Bitcoin and you want to be in all the other tokens around Bitcoin. And you got to have dry powder to do it. Let me know in the chat whether you agree with me. And again, I said, we don't do clickbait anymore. We stopped doing clickbait tiles. This is a real thing. I'm going to implement it. I'm going to show you how to implement it. And I'm also going to keep you updated on everything that is happening on the Bitcoin network, because I think that that's where we're going to get our biggest life-changing returns. And I think that's where we're going to get our biggest life-changing returns. By the way, speaking of life-changing returns, our man David, the trader, still at number 1, 1,402. He was on 1,440 earlier. David, stop trading, bro. You're ahead. You can win. Sheldino, what do you think? What do you think? Should he cut? Shouldn't he cut?
Yeah, I think he should just take it easy now. And just take it easy, maybe some small. So I spoke to him yesterday. He's going to run some, maybe 25% of the portfolio, keep going slowly, because he's on it, bro. He's nailed it. He's in the perfect positions. He's still in good positions. He's in Gala. He's in these ones. Like he's doing well. He's moving those stops up. The amount that this man learned from the course and the way how he took the nuggets and how he's planned this victory. Like he's planned it. Like he's literally got a roadmap and he knows where he goes and he knows exactly when to shift. And he's like, bro, it's incredible. I can't believe how this man he's taken it and he's on the next level. Like he showed me yesterday, and that's what's beautiful about the podcast. He showed me everything. He showed me the whole transaction histories. He showed me everything of where he started with a couple $100 and how he built it to the 100-something thousand. Then opened the trading competition. Like the trading competition is only like 30% of his gains. That was only the last 2 weeks. Like he's been running this for like 5 weeks now. On Mexi, like he absolutely, like it's incredible. Like he's got and he only knows like this much TA. He took a few things from TA, he took his fundamentals, and that's the power. It's not even just TA that he nailed that with. He's got a beautiful story, guys. So stay tuned for that podcast.
On the weekend we'll drop that podcast. Tomorrow we've got a big Friday banter, very big Friday banter. I'm not telling you what it is. It's a big surprise. But trust me that the most alpha you'll ever get is on the Friday banter tomorrow. So you don't want to miss Friday banter. It's going to happen at the same time as this show tomorrow. Sheldino, let's go through a few charts. But before we go through a few charts, I just want to cover 1 or 2 more stories, and we're going to go through a few charts. And Sheldino will DJ with us. So one other story that I think we should talk about is Bitboy. Now, he is the master of, what's the word? Like, the master of self-destruction. And I like Bitboy. Bitboy and I have always had a good relationship. But I keep watching this guy and I'm going, bro, you are your own worst enemy. Now with this new Ben coin, he literally came out and said, I'm committed to not selling any of my Ben coins for 6 months. I'm intentionally locking these shitcoin to piss off the haters. And then yesterday we get news that actually he sold. 𝗧𝗥𝗍𝒑 tweets or retweeted somebody that showed that Bitboy actually sold those tokens. And the reason why he sold them is he said he has to pay the developer of the shitcoin, of the meme coin. He had to pay the developer 1,000 ETH. So that's $2.5 million or $2 million plus 250K. So $2 million to this guy who developed this meme coin. Now, this dude that developed the meme coin, Ben.eth, he developed that meme coin. He developed the new 𝗖𝗍𝗆 meme coin, raises another $7 million. So now this guy's made $10 million, okay? He's made $10 million so far. He's also now got Andrew Tate talking about it.
I talked about how it's because I'm the most influential man in the world. Every single word I say becomes a fucking coin. I made a joke about sluts. Sluts became a coin. I released a video on Rumble about how stupid Ant-Man is. Ant-Man's become a coin. Then in that Ant-Man video, I talked about how it's all a 𝗖𝗍, and 𝗖𝗍 is a coin. Now some fucking nerd who has a 𝗖𝗍 coin is saying I endorsed his coin. I don't know who this fucking DNG is. sitting behind his fucking computer screen saying I endorse shit I didn't endorse. Let me make something very clear to the world. I do not endorse any crypto. Take coin, Top G coin, PSYOP coin, Suck My Dick coin, any of them. I have nothing to do with any cryptos whatsoever, and I'll tell you why. Because in crypto, it's impossible for someone to win without somebody else losing. If you're going to buy a coin for $1 and sell it for $10, the only reason you have made money is because someone else bought it for $10 and they are going to lose. I do not want anybody who is associated with me in any form to lose. I don't want any of my fans to lose. I don't want any young children who believe in me to lose. I don't want anybody to lose a single penny. That is why I do not endorse any cryptos. I will never endorse any cryptos, absolutely none of them. If they say I have anything to do with it, they are fucking lying. I have nothing to do with any of it. You know what? I could pump a shit coin and make $100 million, but I already have $100 million. So why the fuck would I damage my fans?
Okay, so before this video gets updated for you, the developers made $10 million. Let's just understand where we're at. Then Andrew Tate went and did his so Beeple's now involved. I mean, this is. Can you believe that Beeple is now doing pieces of art with Bitboy and Andrew Tate with Ben and his shitcoins? And now Andrew Tate's like, oh, okay, I'll endorse a shitcoin. I'll send it to the fucking moon. And you got to read this part here where he says it will never ever happen. So it's not actually going to happen. All right. One more thing before we talk about Sheldon and charts. I do want to talk about Ripple because Ripple's having a huge week. Like, you know, on the one hand, you know my thoughts about Ripple. In fact, I'm not going to talk about my thoughts about Ripple, but we're going to talk about the big week that Ripple's having. So the week started off when they won a little battle in the court case against the SEC, where the judge now has to hand over the Hinman docs, which is Bill Hinman was one of the big guys at the SEC. He said that Ethereum wasn't a security, and when Ripple asked for, can you give us the reasons why you think Ethereum is not a security? He came out and they said, no, we're hiding those reasons. Now they have to hand over all these mails and all those reasons. That's the first thing that happened. Then they bought a crypto custody firm for $250 million. That's also this week. Then they teamed up with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority this week. Then, on top of that, they announced a CBDC platform and an engagement with the Hong Kong government. So Ripple's having a huge week. Ripple's having a very, very, very big week. I'm actually expecting big things there. I wonder, how is the chart for Ripple looking, Mr. Sniperino?
What's happening, bro? I can't believe Miami.
Tell me about the chart. Tell me about the chart. How's the chart for XRP looking?
So sorry, I'm on one screen here. So good. Obviously, something good happened. We just need a little more. So it's looking great. Obviously, where it bounced is amazing. I do think there's maybe a small pullback to around 44, but we're starting to get a breaker trend of volume on high time frame, and we have this wedge. And I'm just paying attention to a close, hopefully this week above the 48, and to get above the 200 weekly, and then from that we got 60, and after that we got 80. So it's definitely one of the coins that are beating the Bitcoin pairing. Now, it's crazy that you've been speaking about this BRC and all the stuff. And, you know, looking at that, you know, I think this is the possibility. We spoke about this. What's your thoughts on the Bitcoin dominance, bro? Because if this is true,
I may have to change.
Because we're hovering here. Like, firstly, we're not there yet. We haven't broken it yet. But there is a scenario, obviously, that Bitcoin goes full bull. Like you said, it literally goes where no one expects. And
my thesis has changed. My thesis changes because, you know, my thesis was that Bitcoin wasn't a smart contract network. But if Bitcoin's smart contract network happens, my thesis of Bitcoin dominance actually changes. And then I think I shift more into the Ben Cowan camp, and then I've got to eat humble pie. Because
that's going to be an interesting one.
I had been talking, but you know what? I didn't foresee this. Now this is happening. So that's happening. Sheldon, carry on with the charts. I'm going to get myself a protein shake because I'm so fucking hungry. So carry on.
Go. No problem. So obviously what you're speaking about with Bitcoin and these things, like there is a scenario, guys. Obviously, what's up? I know I haven't done too many streams. I'm going to be doing streams from tomorrow and get things going. The time difference. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know the time was so early when I do my shows at 5, 6 a.m. Like now I understand how early it is. But what we have here, guys, is we do have the scenario where we're not there yet. And this is why, for me, I've been obviously loading up a lot of altcoins this year. and looking at what's outperforming Bitcoin. But where we are here, if we do go full bull mode, there is a possibility of us breaking. We need a weekly close above the 49%. And if we have that, we're obviously breaking out of a 2-year, trending sort of range that we've been in. And now all of a sudden we have 54 and 60%. And the thing for me, though, is if that happens, if we do decide to finally break that range, I think it's really big for Bitcoin. And I want to show you here. So the main things to focus on with this current pullback is what you have is you had the weekly stochastic making its way down. Another big thing, look at this volume. Guys, we're getting volume. We're getting great volume. And we've had this pullback now. And what we did is we tested to 200 MA, which is important. And I think we now know that because Bitcoin made this breakout throughout this year and finally started to break some big indicators, they're going to want to hold that. And you can saw that pullback that we had to 26. It's the 200 weekly support as it stands. And what we're waiting for now is it's showing another week or two possibly of just this RSI to come down. But if we hold this area here and we break that trend, it's going to attempt the highs again. And the crazy thing is, if we have this BRC20, we have everything that's happening, and that dominance decides to break the 49, we can have a 54 to a 60% dominance in Bitcoin. If that happens, I see it to the upside. No, I see it to the upside. I see, I see us hitting this big squeeze over here. There's a big weekly squeeze where they're all trying to hold this previous high, this previous low over here. And after that, it's very similar to the 25K in the beginning where we got this huge volume spike. Look at that. And that's where the next one is sitting here. Everyone's trying to short the top here. They're all trying to sort these areas. But if that dominance turns, I think it's bullish. I think it's bullish, and I think Bitcoin attempts those highs. Now, just quickly, Ron, just to jump on, I think, however, we still need to pay attention to what could possibly outperform Bitcoin in that time too. I think you always want to be ahead, and it's something that I spoke about that David yesterday. He's just ahead of it. Like he's with Render. He's with the coins that are moving strong against it. And it's not that we're thinking that it's better than Bitcoin, but it's learning the performance of Bitcoin's strong. And I haven't seen it this strong in a long time. And if you can find what's beating that at the moment, you're obviously hitting a double whammy. So XRP is one of them. Litecoin is another one. We're going to speak about Render. So, guys, so you need to pay attention to Render for this weekly close because we've hit here before. And if Render starts closing above 2.4 and we start closing above this resistance level here, you got this gap that takes it up to the 3.824. So you can see right now, we've never seen this much volume. Like, firstly, it's at a great stage, guys. It's come down, market reset, big bear market accumulating for a while. And now you're getting big volume. And now all of a sudden, if we start closing here, you start getting to these big squeezes. So Render, I think, is another big one to focus on. And then you got gaming. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing gaming. I'm seeing 𝗂𝗏. Yes. I'm seeing Super.
Well, gaming because Apple. Because on the 5th of June, you've got this Apple DevCon, and they're going to release these virtual reality, augmented reality glasses, and that's going to change the landscape for gaming. You understand?
So yeah.
So that's So that's the
another one. Like, do you know what's happening with Super? Like, we're getting these crazy, spikes in volume.
Everything.
And you zoom out, bro, and you're like, holy shit! Like, we're in a range, bro. This can be good.
Everything. All the answers to life can be found inside the Banter bubbles.
Yeah.
All the answers to life are available inside the Banter bubbles. You see, everyone's chatting. You could pick up all the alpha here. You can literally.
Firstly, Ron, when you came up with this idea, bro, like, I never understood it, and I've seen it now, and this is the best you get. Like, the fact when something's moving and we can jump on and see what's happening, bro, you've just, like, incredible. Absolutely incredible.
It's going to become a social trading network where you're going to look at the bubbles and you're going to say, why is 𝗶𝗃 up today? You're going to click on 𝗶𝗃 and you're going to see what everybody is thinking as to why 𝗶𝗃 is actually up today. And that's where the magic is. And guys, go in there. We're giving away thousands of dollars every day just to get this thing going. But more importantly than getting this thing going, just think about this. We are going to have a platform where all of us go and share all our alpha by coin. Okay, like, just understand how powerful that is.
Incredible, bro.
There's no other platform in the world that is giving you so much alpha by coin, and you can see it. So, but the only way it works is if you guys jump in with us. Okay, cool. So, carry on with the charts if there's anything else.
No. For that, so I think the big question is Bitcoin overvalued right now? Yes, it has these things. Like, do you think it's not overvalued?
Not overvalued.
And I think the only time you're getting into alts and things like that, I'm still huge in alts right now because that dominance hasn't broken that range yet. And me as a chartist, until we're above 49, Like I'm still there and I still have my altcoin bags, but I think the narratives are big. Why we have Litecoin? Why we have the old school coins also coming to life here? Now we got gaming, like it's
start loading up on Bitcoin. Just it doesn't have to happen today. That's why I wanted to bring you the show today to say, look, this is my thesis. I'm changing my thesis. You know, I'm the biggest shitcoiner of all time. I'm the biggest altcoiner of all time. And I'm changing my thesis. And if I'm changing my thesis, then you need to potentially change your thesis. I've been very good in the last couple of months. I've called the market absolutely perfectly. We called the bottom. We called the Apple. We really called it one by one by one. And now I'm seeing something else. And it's important to share with you guys what we're seeing. Anyway, listen, before we go, just, if you want to get the price for Pulse or Pulse X, just go to Dex Tools. There's the price for Pulse, 0.00146. I know a lot of you are looking. Remember, today is the last day in the OKX competition. So that's it. It's today. You have to trade. Today is the last day to trade, and then you can win the Tesla, which we're giving away in 3 days' time.
Incredible.
ByBit competition, I'm coming 129th, which is not good. I was coming 30th, but I'm hopeful. There are still 139 places to go if you want to come in. So listen, we're going to go to the conference now. If you are in Miami, there is a link.
Brad, how did the dinner go?
So listen, we're going to go to the conference now. Okay, no, let's talk about it.
Come on, bro.
Let's talk about it. No, we can talk about it. We can talk about it later. I think it's important that we talk about it later. So first of all, let me say that I've been talking to Leia for a long time. Like before she blew up with Andrew Tate, I was talking to her. You remember we had her on Banter in the old days. She hosted a couple of shows. I think she's an amazing, very, very sweet girl who comes from really humble. I think she comes from a really humble background, and this has all hit her like crazy. Like she's become a worldwide celebrity wherever she walks in the street.
She's done incredible, bro.
She's done incredible. Her Twitter account's blown up to 600,000 people. She's lovely. She's young. She's sweet. She's gorgeous. She really, really, really is gorgeous. And when I say gorgeous, she's gorgeous on the outside, and she's, I think, even more gorgeous on the inside. And it was a very, very, very interesting dinner. It really was. That's all.
So did you go on a podcast? Did you guys like? I'm excited to see it.
I did. I filmed for her podcast. We filmed for her podcast yesterday. Yeah, if anybody wants to know any other questions about my dinner with Leia, you can ask them now. We've got 2 minutes left. In the next 2 minutes, I'll answer as many questions as you want. I'm only happy to answer questions up until dinner and nothing after dinner. So anyone wants to ask anything, now is the last chance we can have. People are saying you're jealous. Someone says he has 20 questions.
So is it it's a banter party tonight, right?
Tonight? What do you mean? It's your own party? You don't even know. It's your own.
No, bro. I'm just going with it. It's great. I'm enjoying it. It's like okay, amazing.
So someone says, did you order lobster? No, we didn't order lobster. So I'll tell you what we did eat. We had Wagyu dumplings. We had Wagyu ribeye steak. We had 𝗔𝗷𝗆𝗆 sushi, which was very, very nice. We had Peking duck, which was also really, really good. So the food was good. Was there an after dinner snack? No, we didn't. We didn't have a snack. We had dessert.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, bro, let's go eat this conference, bro.
All right, let's
go.
go. Listen, I will see you guys again tomorrow. Remember, ByBit competition. Remember to trade on OKX. And remember, most importantly, to be in the bubbles, because that's where we get the alpha. I love you all madly, including Sheldino. And also including, not only Sheldino, even, hold on, let's just quickly go here. So, including, what's his name? Felez, I'm sending you much love and warm vibes, and I hope that all the problems in your life actually resolve themselves. And to all of you, and also to Trader Sim, trade well, my friend, because you need it. Because you need it to claw back on all the losses that you've made. And next time, just fucking listen. See you guys again. I'm not seeing you tomorrow. There's a big banter show tomorrow. But it's not with me. It's a big surprise. It's going to be amazing. You guys are going to love it. I'll see you guys again on Monday or Tuesday. Until then, trade well, my fam.